12-day war between Iran and Israel in June saw unprecedented strikes from the United States and Israel on the Islamic Republic's nuclear facilities. According to Israel, the strikes were aimed at preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program.
An ambition Tehran has consistently denied. But amid heightened global tensions and growing militarization, is a new nuclear arms race emerging. On the 6th of August, 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on Japan's Hiroshima. 3 days later, it dropped the second and last ever detonated atomic bomb used in warfare on Nagasaki. More than 200,000 people died as a direct result of the bombings, 38,000 of them children.
A powerful international norm developed, stigmatizing the use of nuclear weapons as morally unacceptable. This norm has become known as the nuclear taboo. It is therefore alarming that today this taboo against the use of nuclear weapon is under pressure.
Despite the devastation caused by the bombs, countries continued to develop nuclear warheads, in what became a nuclear arms race between the US, the former Soviet Union, and their respective allies. Eventually, the MAD doctrine of mutually assured destruction was established, a theory that implies the threat of a nuclear apocalypse generates a disincentive for two nuclear-armed powers to go to war. But amid heightened geopolitical tensions, there are now growing concerns around a renewed nuclear arms race. Russian President Vladimir Putin has wielded the nuclear threat on a number of occasions since his country's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, aiming to deter the West from militarily aiding Kyiv.
Также четко фиксируются условия перехода России к применению ядерного оружия. Будем рассматривать такую возможность уже при получении достоверной информации о массированном старте средств воздушно-космического нападения и пересечении ими нашей государственной границы.
Russia possesses 5,459 nuclear warheads, just ahead of the United States, which has 5,177. The two countries hold nearly 90% of the world's nuclear arsenal.
In times of conflict, of international tension, having nuclear weapons is extremely dangerous. We don't know exactly, nobody knows, the calculations that goes on in the minds of leaders like Putin when it comes to nuclear weapons.
In March 2024, the UN was already warning of an unprecedented level of nuclear threat not seen in decades.
Geopolitical tensions and mistrust have escalated the risk of nuclear warfare to its highest point in decades. The doomsday clock is ticking loudly enough for all to hear.
9 countries are known to possess nuclear weapons. After Russia and the United States comes China, France, the United Kingdom, India, Pakistan, and North Korea. Israel is widely believed to possess around 90 nuclear warheads, although it has never publicly confirmed it and is not a signatory of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The 1968 Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons is a cornerstone of global nuclear architecture. It attempts to strike a balance between the security concern of nuclear-armed powers and the atomic ambitions of the non-nuclear-armed powers. The 5 countries that had nuclear weapons at the time the treaty was established were allowed to keep their nuclear weapons in return for committing to reduce their stockpile. Non-nuclear armed states agreed to never acquire such weapons, in return for help in developing peaceful nuclear technology. But it didn't prevent 3 non-signatories, Israel, India, and Pakistan, from acquiring nuclear weapons. In 2003, North Korea withdrew from the treaty, the only country to have done so. 3 years later, the country detonated its first warhead. A nuclear test hasn't been carried out anywhere in the world since 2017, but experts fear that could now change. Israel has long stated that it feared Iran was using its nuclear program to develop weapons.
Where should a red line be drawn? A red line should be drawn right here. before Iran completes the second stage of nuclear enrichment necessary to make a bomb.
In 2015, a landmark nuclear agreement partially lifted international sanctions on Iran. In exchange, the Islamic Republic agreed to drastically curb its nuclear program and pledged to never develop an atomic weapon. But the deal was short-lived. In 2018, Trump slapped fresh sanctions on Iran, causing the deal to unravel as the country significantly ramped up its nuclear program. As of mid-May 2025, Iran's total enriched uranium stockpile was estimated at 9,247.6 kilograms, more than 45 times the limit set out in the 2015 deal. The country theoretically had enough nuclear weapon-grade material, if further refined, for about 10 nuclear bombs, according to the definition by the IAEA. While Tehran's enrichment levels exceeded the 2015 deal, the UN's nuclear watchdog stated in its latest report in May 2025 it had no credible indications of an ongoing, undeclared structured nuclear program in Iran. Then, on the 13th of June, Israel struck nuclear sites in Iran. The Islamic Republic responded immediately. The exchange of strikes over 12 days killed more than 1,000 people across Iran, according to officials, and at least 28 people in Israel.
There is still a path for diplomacy. We must take it. Otherwise, violence and destruction could reach unimaginable levels, and the global non-proliferation regime that has underpinned international security for more than half a century could crumble and fall.
On the 2nd of July, Iran officially suspended its cooperation with the IAEA.
The recent unlawful act of aggression has delivered a fundamental and irreparable blow to the international non-proliferation regime, conclusively demonstrating that the existing NPT framework has been rendered ineffective in fulfilling its foundational objective.
Since the end of the Cold War, old warheads have generally been dismantled quicker than new ones have been deployed, resulting in a decrease in the overall number of nuclear weapons. But experts warn this trend is likely to be reversed in coming years. And concerns of nuclear proliferation lie beyond just Iran. Donald Trump's attacks on NATO and the established world order are undermining the confidence of states under the US security umbrella, leading some non-nuclear armed allies to seek reopening the debate. Some experts have said that South Korea is the most likely US ally to consider acquiring nuclear weapons, challenged by the nuclear threat of North Korea. Fearing threats from Russia, the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has also not excluded pursuing nuclear weapons in the future. Global spending on nuclear weapons topped $100 billion in 2024. That's nearly $10 billion more than the year prior. In particular, China has significantly added to their nuclear arsenal, adding another 100 warheads in 2023 and in 2024, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute.
Now there's China to think about as well, and a three-sided arms control agreement is going to be devilishly complex to achieve. We see the warning signs of a new nuclear arms race coming.